Hello and welcome to the Exchange Video Library. We are here today with Katherine Raskob, the Chief Executive Officer of Fundraising Institute Australia, which is the national peak body for professional fundraising. Welcome, Katherine.
Thank you, Julia. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you here. We've got a really important topic here, which is something facing all of us, which is fundraising in challenging times. From the peak body's perspective, what are the most important considerations for fundraising in COVID and indeed any type of challenging situation?
Well, you're definitely correct that these are very challenging times and they don't seem to ever end. It's challenge after challenge. I think in terms of fundraising during these times, there are a couple of key considerations. I'd say probably three of the most important ones would be, firstly, planning and risk considerations. Secondly, sort of transparency in fundraising is even more important. And then finally, considering vulnerability. And I'll talk a little bit about each of those. So in the case of planning and risk, obviously the risk constraints that we face are even greater than ever before. You know, there's safety of staff, of volunteers, of donors and our supporters. And it's really important to undertake risk assessments and dig deep into the areas that you need to consider in terms of protecting the safety of all of your constituents. So I think that's number one. And also considering the ways that the environments have changed that you need to adapt to. So face-to-face fundraising, for example, has changed quite considerably with social and physical distancing, for example, or with dealing, directly with potential donors door to door. So I think those are some of the areas that we have to be even more careful of during these challenging times. In terms of transparency, there are two areas to consider in here. I think is about how you are actually undertaking risk assessments and how you're supplying or providing safe environments for people within your sort of purview. And then I think even more importantly is really transparency to donors and supporters about what you're doing and the causes for which you're fundraising. We have seen during heightened emotional and challenging times such as bushfires, floods, and even the emotional aspects of the pandemic, that we do need to be really clear with donors and supporters about what we're fundraising for, how the funds will be used. And then finally, really the care about vulnerability of donors and supporters. Not only are donors, potentially in vulnerable circumstances if they are of advanced age or in difficult financial circumstances, but a pandemic or floods or bushfires actually lands people in temporary vulnerable circumstances. And it's really critical to consider those, to be extra sensitive to those, and in terms of marketing, to exclude those potentially for the time being. So I think those three areas, planning and risk considerations, the transparency issue, and then considerations for increased vulnerability are three of the most critical areas that we need to consider during these times.
Yeah, fantastic, Katherine. That's a really great point that you make about considering the people that you might want to leave off some of your marketing efforts. That's a really good point to wrap us up on that point as well. So thank you, Katherine, very much for joining us on this important topic today. If this has been helpful, click the links below to stay in touch, and please also subscribe, like, or share. All the very best.